What's up, guys? I was not supposed to make a video because I'm supposed to go on vacation. I'm still going on vacation, just to be clear. But obviously, there's a big signal that just got triggered, and I wanted to talk about it. It's about Bitcoin. Before I continue, just wanted to say that I'm gonna make a video once I'm in vacation. I think if I have time, I'm gonna, try to make a video about what happened in the election in Canada and what it means economically, right? There's a reason why I said to vote conservative. It's not because I'm a conservative. It was just based on the economy. And I'm gonna make a video very shortly, and I'm actually gonna show some very bad statistics of the Canadian economy that no one talks about, that apparently most Canadians are not even aware of, which is pretty crazy. And that despite the fact that the Canadian economy is in the toilet, apparently it was more important to vote based on a orange man. And I'm going to talk about what it means basically economically, if that makes sense, especially for the youth and the younger generation. That's what I'm going to focus on that video. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to talk about. So I digress. For now, just wanted to make a quick update video. I told you guys that I was stopped out of crypto. I didn't sell everything, but I did sell a lot of my crypto based on my risk on, risk off model, and also my bear market model being triggered at the end of March, right? So at the end of the day, you will never go broke taking profits. I was buying in 2023. I made videos on this channel telling you guys to buy. No one bought, no one listened. And anyways, right, for a short period of time, I was correct. Bitcoin did drop about 30% from the highs, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, to about 25% if I put the candlesticks and I actually measure from the highs to the lows properly. It's about 31%. So let's just say 30%. So for a short period of time, I was correct. And I told you guys that I was waiting basically for my trend following model to trigger back on the long side, and it did happen. So I'm going to show you guys very quickly what that basically means. So I'm just going to put these trend lines for you guys so you'll see what I mean by my trend following metrics right here. So it's very simple. Bitcoin is a trend following asset. Okay. I love Bitcoin. I also told you guys that you always want to have 10% allocation to Bitcoin in your long-term portfolio. If we do enter a bear market, you can reduce that to about 5%, so between 5 and 10% in my humble opinion, based on actual analytics. I don't have those with me right now because I'm trying to make this video quick, but I did show those in my past videos that based on statistics, having 10% of your portfolio in Bitcoin basically made you outperform having 100% of your portfolio in the S&P 500 on a 4 to 5 year period, right? So statistically speaking, if history repeats itself, having a 5 to 10% allocation into Bitcoin for long-term portfolio and to just leave it there and not touch it is a very good idea, in my humble opinion, not financial advice. But Bitcoin also does not move 80% of the time. So this is something that not a lot of people know. Bitcoin, 80% of the time goes nowhere. It basically just trades sideways. And then 20% of the time, that's when you have those big moves right here. Or again, like right here. But then, most of the time we go nowhere. We just chop around and we top, we go back down, we chop, right? But the good news is right now, I'm going to show you guys that basically my trend following model triggered a buy signal. And those are big signals. When those get triggered, you should expect a decent move in the price of Bitcoin to the upside and the downside. And right now, it's very simple. You can see that my cloud trend model basically right here finally triggered a long signal. And in the same time, basically, you just wait for the the original MACD. So this is the normal MACD on the weekly time frame, right? So it's weekly trend following, which is the best time frame to trend follow for long-term portfolio, in my humble opinion, not financial advice. And once this crosses, just like right here, you should expect a big move to the upside for Bitcoin. And right now we're about to trigger. And then what I do is I combine this with the monthly time frame. So I just use the same cloud, but on the monthly time frame with the weekly time frame for confirmation. And as you guys can see right here, we triggered a pretty big signal right here, right? You see it turn green right here. So it didn't actually turn green during this candle, but it just did today. All right. because obviously the month we just opened a new month, we're the 1st of May. And you can see that, I mean, we get these monstrous rallies when that happens. It has happened in the past where we had a fake out, but most of the time it doesn't. But you can see right here that it did trigger right here, but it did, end up being a fake out. But we did still have a nice pump to the upside before we faded right back down. How high Bitcoin can go and what you can expect is going to be based on where you think we are in the cycle. Personally, I'm still bearish for the broad markets, and that's kind of the problem I have. My risk on and off model is still negative. My bear market model is still hanging in being in the bear market, but it does look a little bit weaker than it did, like a couple of weeks ago when we were really crashing in the S&P 500. So personally, what I'm doing, do not copy me. And I cannot go too much in detail of what I do because I don't want people to copy my trades. But I am long. I did enter some trades, but what I did, because I personally do not believe that we are at the beginning of a early bull phase, right? So there's a difference when you obviously chase those type of move when, we've had like a big correction in the price of Bitcoin, and then, you start entering, right? But you know that long term, most likely Bitcoin is going to go back to the all-time highs. So right now, obviously, we're more in the late stage, in my humble opinion, of the crypto cycle and broad markets in general. But it doesn't mean that Bitcoin cannot have a supply crunch. Meanwhile, the broad stock market is having issues with interest rates, right? So that's still a possibility. Bitcoin is a type of asset that at one point will most likely decouple with the rest of the market. Hopefully, I'm hopeful it does happen. And then that's going to be obviously a game changer because institutions are going to look at Bitcoin and they're going to be like, whoa, okay, so Bitcoin is actually now acting like gold. But anyways, I digress. That's just more, complicated things that won't make us money for now. At the end of the day, just focus on the trend, look at your models. And right now, I mean, this is enough for me to basically take a trade. But this is where I'm going with my crazy rant again. Uh, because I don't believe we're at the beginning of the bull market, instead of buying Bitcoin spot, right? Or buying the Bitcoin ETF or something like that. What I'm doing is I'm selling options against Bitcoin proxies. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't want to go more in detail because I don't want you to copy my trades. And I want to keep this video short as well, less than 10 minutes. So I'm basically at the end of the video. So for me, I'm selling options at very low strike price on Bitcoin proxies. So for me to make money on Bitcoin, Bitcoin doesn't even need, to have an insane leg to the upside. It just doesn't. And I will still make money. Like Bitcoin could slowly grind to the upside for the next 2 weeks. And most likely I'll make between 40 to 50% returns on my position that I started right now on different type of Bitcoin proxies. So hopefully that makes sense. It's a little bit hard to give a proper forecast of how high Bitcoin could go. I could do that. I did that in the past. It's very hard. One thing I've learned personally during this cycle, it's my third cycle, is just focus on your trend following model, you know? And for me personally, at the moment that green cloud right here turns blue, I'm taking profit. So hopefully that makes sense right now. Obviously it's green, it's very small, which is good. That basically means that, we're just at the beginning of the uptrend. So if I zoom in for you guys just to see, and yeah, you can see that we're just at the beginning. Obviously, this is short-term trading, all right? So I am not going back in with long-term portfolios because we're going to have a nice little pop basically to the upside. But this could last a while if everything goes correctly in traditional markets, which I'm not sure about. And my models are still not telling me to, uh, you know, to basically go back in a risk on environment, if that makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense. That's it, guys. Just wanted to share with you guys this very bullish signal for Bitcoin. So we'll see, right? We'll see if it's a fake out or not. I have some positions, but I've structured my position to very low deltas where most likely I should, you know, make money regardless if it fails or not, right? So that's how I'm positioned. So hopefully that makes sense. Have a beautiful day. Stay blessed, and I catch you in the next videos. It's going to be very interesting. The next videos about I'm going to go in depth. I'm going to look at some economic data of Canada's economy and how horrible it is, and who actually makes all the money in Canada as well, which is very important to keep an eye on and to understand, the result of this election for the young generations, which is not good. All right, so take care, stay blessed, and catch you in the next video, and God bless you.